shockwaves made by the New Orleans Saints as they named Tyler Shough the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, possibly for the remainder of the season. Want to know what we think? Find out on this latest episode on the Who Dat Weekly. Hit that intro. Welcome to the show. So, we have some pretty important news to announce. Really important news to announce. The New Orleans Saints have announced that Tyler Shough, that's right, rookie quarterback Tyler Shough out of Louisville, will be the Saints' starting quarterback for this matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. And how do we feel about that? Honestly, I'm ready for it. I am absolutely ready for it. And let me tell you, after watching pretty much near 8 weeks of Spencer Rattler playing his hardest out, and we definitely don't want to what's the word? I don't want to discredit Rattler for his performance for the last 8 weeks. It's just that something had to change. Excuse me. And simply put, Spencer Rattler just wasn't getting the job done, unfortunately. And he just wasn't winning games. He only has one career win under his belt, and that was against the New York Giants a few weeks ago. And on top of that, his struggles began to mount, simply put. The turnovers started to escalate. He wasn't throwing the ball efficiently, and he started just getting rattled. No pun intended. So, needless to say, it was a time that the Saints made a change. And even though Coach Moore initially said that he didn't want to approach this as trying to be can't decide between either quarterback, you start one and start the other, or you start one, bench him, and then start the other. He didn't want to approach that, but it was time. And I think he knew that himself, and he just didn't want to purposely admit that or really personally make it public. But the writing was really on the the writing was really on the wall for Spencer Rattler. And look, and I've said this multiple times. I've been a huge supporter of Spencer Rattler, and it pains me to say this because I really do like Spencer Rattler, but unfortunately, it just didn't work. It just didn't work, and it's sad because but the thing I'm glad about though is that the Saints actually took the time and let him do his ultimate best. And there were some good games he had. We all can acknowledge that he had a couple good games. But like I said, it's starting to mount up. The pressure got to him, and he started making really risky throws. And look, and I said this a couple times in previous videos. I wanted him to make more risky throws just to see what he can make, what he can be made of. Unfortunately, it resulted in more turnovers than I expected. And he alone was responsible for at least 6 to 7 turnovers in the last 2 games combined. And you just simply can't have that. And on top of that, the riskier throws he made that didn't result in a turnover, he either overshot, undershot, or the receiver simply couldn't catch it, which was actually really rare. Most of his throws that were overthrown were just simply overthrown. He just overshot his receiver too often and too consistently, unfortunately. So, with that being said, Spencer Rattler, thank you for what you've gave to us, and thank you for everything you put in. All the hard work will not be ignored, but in this case, it's time to move on to the next best thing that we got, in which we hope will be Tyler Shough. Now, I'm not saying Tyler Shough is anywhere close to being better than Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, as of now, is still technically the best quarterback on this roster. However, it's time that we just see what Tyler Shough is made of, and that's why today we're just going to discuss about him. So, and I think we kind of discussed him pretty well during the offseason when we first drafted him, and I saw a lot of his highlight reels, and he showed a lot of good stuff that I really liked. And then we got to see a good lengthy amount of him from preseason, and there were some things I liked and there were some things I didn't like. And what I did notice right off the bat, compared to his preseason performance, is that he looked so much more comfortable under pressure. Like, even with that ferocious Bucs defense that made life living hell for Spencer Rattler, it didn't necessarily faze Tyler Shough as much. In fact, Tyler Shough actually did well enough to when he was under pressure, he actually was able to escape without losing the football, and he was able to keep the drive alive as often as he could. And the one thing that stood out to me the most was he actually pushed the ball downfield, and I think, in my opinion, feel free to disagree with me on this, I think he was a lot more accurate with the ball than Spencer Rattler ever was. I noticed he hardly ever threw the ball behind or ahead of the receiver. He was pretty much on target for the most part. Now I don't want to overemphasize a quarter and a half of Tyler Shough's performance, because Sunday's game was an absolute mess. And I don't want to overanalyze, because the next game I could be saying all these nice things, the next thing you know, and it's very possible that Tyler Shough will just have an absolute rookie kind of game where he's under pressure, under duress, having all sorts of problems, like we've been having problems all year long on offense, really, against a really talented, strong Los Angeles Rams defense that we're going up against this coming Sunday in their own house. So there's a lot running on the line for Tyler Shough, and honestly, I'm glad they're making him the starter for this game, because this would really give us an idea what this kid is made of, being a first-time starter against a well-known playoff contending Los Angeles Rams team that has consistently given teams problems. They won a Super Bowl not long ago, and they've been really good despite also not also the best way to describe the Los Angeles Rams is that they're like the worst playoff team. And yet they're still the most menacing playoff team out there. And they have consistently been that way for the last couple years. And the evidence really shows, honestly. So this would be a good matchup for Tyler Shough and company to see what can he do to keep the drive alive, and can he provide that kind of spark that this Saints offense desperately needs. I don't really know how well he's going to do. I can only speculate based off of a quarter and a half of football. Now, of course, all the Spencer Rattler hive members, as I'm calling them, must be losing their minds. They're probably already trying to take down or talk down about Tyler Shough and say he sucks and he's overrated, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? We all said, I bet you the Tyler Shough fans were saying the same thing about Spencer Rattler. For me, I don't give a damn which side I'm on. I'm a Saints fan through and through. I don't care. I'm no player stand to begin with. I just want my Saints to do well. And I want, no matter who's at quarterback, I want them to do well too. And we have to be honest. We gave Spencer Rattler 8 whole weeks. I think we can give Tyler Shough the additional 7-8 weeks left. I think how many games is there in the season? 17 games, so 9 more weeks. So I think it's just fair. Like the player stands, as I've already talked about player stands before in a previous video a few months ago. They're the most idiotic, nonsensical fan bases out there that only root for one player, which is so stupid in my opinion. But anyway, in regards to this, let's just remember, the Saints aren't a good team. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. We clearly have a lost season, which we all, for the most part, expected. Even though I was way off, I was sort of kind of buying into the small hype that the Saints had in the beginning of the season, where we looked good, but just fell short, and now we're just simply falling apart as we speak. So it's unfortunate, and my playoff prediction just completely went out the window. Although at the same time, I'm not too upset about it since I don't have to get a tattoo. So save me a little money there because I can't imagine how much tattoos cost. But that's a whole. So if you guys want to rewatch that one video where I made that prediction where if the Saints were to make the playoffs, I will get myself a tattoo. Just click on my podcast channel below. You'll find it from there. So yeah. Anyway, going back to what I'm expecting in this game. I don't want to expect too much out of Tyler Shough because I've already mentioned this team clearly lacks playmakers. The offense as a whole is an absolute disaster. It needs a major facelift. It needs reconstruction. It needs plastic surgery. You name it. Like, this offense stinks. And we don't have receivers that can catch the ball effectively. We don't have a tight end one that can catch the ball effectively. And I pray to God that Mickey Loomis sees how Juwan Johnson has played this season and realize, oh no, I made a mistake. Do I think it's just going to happen? No, absolutely not. By the way, fire Mickey Loomis. So I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of this season, really, until that buffoon is fired. But anyway, going back to the Saints. As far as the Saints go under Tyler Shough, it's hard to tell. I need to see him play a full prepared game and just see what he's made of. My hope is that he can provide a better offensive spark than what we had under Spencer Rattler, because under Spencer Rattler we averaged barely 19 points a game, and that's just not going to win you games. Drew Brees said it himself just a few weeks ago. In order to win games, you have to have at least 24 points or higher. And we were only averaging 19 points. And while Spencer Rattler did all he could while under duress and pressure and getting the ball out as efficient as he could, it did not last long enough. It wasn't good enough, unfortunately. So that's what I'm hoping Tyler Shough can be. And the other thing is, Tyler Shough, as I just mentioned, looks like he can push the ball downfield a lot more effectively than Spencer Rattler could. As my biggest complaint about Spencer Rattler was he kept doing the whole dinks and doink kind of passes, like the very short passes, kind of like how Derek Carr approached things. And that can only get you so far. That's just not good enough. And I like that Tyler Shough wants to push the football downfield. Excuse me. A little more effectively for what we've seen on this past Sunday, and that's my hope, is that he can do the same thing. Just try to get those set up those medium to short to medium passes more effectively. Try to get that deep ball going. Get a nice long pass. Like, push it downfield. Get some aggressiveness in there, and that's something Spencer Rattler just couldn't do. And now he did try to get more aggressive recently, but they all resulted in turnovers. And look, I said initially I was okay if it resulted in maybe 1 or 2 turnovers, if it didn't mean costing us the game. But it did cost us some games. So on top of that, Rattler was starting to have fumbling problems to begin with. And my hope is that Tyler Shough doesn't have fumbling problems. But too early to tell for that. This team has been turnover prone the last few weeks, and it's not been good. So, fingers crossed on that. But overall, I'm excited to see what Tyler Shough is made of. I'm entering this game against the Rams with little to zero expectations of winning. I just want to see what Tyler Shough is made of. Could he be potentially the answer at quarterback? That's what I'm looking for. Those are questions I would like to have answered. Because I was just talking to some of my church friends about our quarterback situation, and I value their opinions so much, and I love them to death. Shout out to all my church members out there that watch my podcast videos. But with the quarterback situation at hand, two things are going to happen with the Saints. Let's start with scenario number one. Number one is let's say Tyler Shough is indeed the answer to the Saints' quarterback problem. Well, then great. I think it's going to be like a rinse and repeat of what I said earlier about Spencer Rattler being the answer to the Saints quarterback problems. And it's going to sound very similar, but with a different twist of things. Obviously, different quarterback is prevalent. So, if Tyler Shough is indeed the answer to our problem, then that makes our draft for the next draft in 2026 a lot easier so that we can not only build around him, but also get much more efficient weapons. Because let me tell you, this team needs weapons. So, and assuming that either Olave or Shaheed are both, or maybe both of them aren't signed back or they're traded away, I think one or the other is more likely to be traded away, and we're keeping one or the other. But we're going to need a legit wide receiver one to play in this offense. We need a legit wide receiver one to help Tyler Shough out with those route running and those short passes that are desperately needed from a wide receiver one, because that is kind of the point of a wide receiver one. He's the route runner. He can get you those first downs. He's physical and he's tall as hell. So that's something we're clearly lacking. And I thought for a moment that Devon Vell, who we got from the Broncos, would be that potential answer, but he hasn't shown me enough to where he could be. Maybe he would be a good, solid backup to the future number one guy, but as of now, it's most certainly not him. It most certainly isn't Chris Olave. Definitely not Rashid Shaheed. We have no answer there, so we got to figure that out. But going back to scenario number one, scenario number one is really just building around Tyler Shough if and only if he does well enough for the remainder of this season to where he's actually the quarterback that we drafted so high for, and that he's actually the answer to our quarterback problem. So, but only time will tell. We have 9 weeks left of this season, and that will really tell us where we're at. If we have more losses than wins, and I'm expecting more losses, don't get me wrong. I mean, the more losses we get, the better the chance we have at the number one draft pick. But if our losses end up being really close like they've been so far, with the exception of the Bucs game, the Seahawks game, and I guess throw in the Bears game, even though it looks close by an eyeball perspective, but it really wasn't. If Tyler Shough and the Saints play like they played against teams not named the Bears, Bucs, and Seahawks, then potentially there's hope there to where we can build around Tyler Shough, get him an actual wide receiver one, an actual tight end one, probably another running back, really. But that's something later down the road. Then we have something to work with. But let's say scenario number two happens. Let's just say we completely lose out the rest of the year, and Tyler Shough just doesn't look that good. Let's just say that. Let's say Tyler Shough is absolutely terrible for us as the season wraps up. Then what do we do here? Well, clearly, the Saints will be in a very difficult position to where, do we draft another quarterback and still start Tyler Shough next season for a couple games? Or do we start the rookie quarterback that we drafted, assuming we're drafting a rookie quarterback at number one? I don't know who exactly we would draft. I had my eyes on that Indiana quarterback and also Alabama's quarterback, Ty Simpson. Oregon's quarterback is noteworthy as well. Maybe LSU's quarterback, but I'm not 100% sold on that one. But we'll cover that in the next draft coming up months from now. So we're not going to worry about that right this minute. But talking about the now, let's say we're Tyler Shough failed us. What do we do from here? We'll have to probably draft a quarterback and try to build around that quarterback, and we'll just have to see what happens and what the Saints do. I don't know. Like, the scenario number two is difficult because we drafted pretty high on Tyler Shough, who probably could have gone in the third or fourth round. Yet he was a second round pick, so he would definitely have more priority to start for the team rather than the first round draft pick quarterback, assumingly we go that route in the next draft. So it's gonna. This is the part I hate about rebuilding. It's like we got to figure out the quarterback problem, but at the same time we got to figure out the whole team problem. Personally, I would rather figure out the team problem rather than the quarterback problem because I think, in my opinion, you build a much stronger team when you actually have legit playmakers on both sides of the ball. In all cases, I think the defense is definitely trending the right direction. I think we can not focus too much on them because in the last few weeks they have played really well. Sure, they've had their bad games, but I'm noticing from our young playmakers, especially in the secondary and linebacker, I've been noticing that they have been playing really hard and also causing problems for the opposing offenses. Our D-line's actually getting pressure. Like Chase Young, who's finally emerging, he's had back-to-back really good games. Kool-Aid McKinstry, who I've been a little critical this season, has started to kick things up a notch. It's like, okay, maybe these guys just need to warm up a little bit, perhaps. But of course, they can only go so long as the offense continues to suck, and you know how it's been so far this season. So, but at the same time, if we can just build around that, if we can just build our players from outside of the quarterback, then that whoever that quarterback will be, whether it's Tyler Shough or the 2026 first round draft pick quarterback, whoever that would be, if they go that route, of course, that's something, because the Saints have not drafted a quarterback that high in decades. It's been a very, very long time. So I don't even know. I can't even say for certain that we will draft a quarterback. So, but in my opinion, I think it's wiser that we build around the quarterback, whoever it will be, whether it's Tyler Shough or the first round draft pick, because that'll give them a better chance at succeeding rather than drafting a quarterback and have absolutely nothing ready for him. And I think that's just been a recipe of disaster for many teams in the NFL. I mean, look at Cleveland. Cleveland's a pile of dog mess. They always draft a quarterback, but they don't build around that quarterback. It's like you would think they would learn their lesson by now, but they just don't. Another good example is Oakland. Oakland's another good example because they always draft a quarterback. It never works. Of course, they never draft good players to begin with. They haven't been relevant at all since the 80s or something like that? I don't know. What's another good team? Good example. Another good example is the Panthers most recently. Now, I think maybe they might have found something in, what's that shorty pants name? I forgot his name already. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But what? Oh, wow, that's bad when you forget his name. But I think y'all know who I'm talking about. But Carolina in the last maybe decade or so, maybe not decade. Let's say last 6-7 years, they've been drafting quarterbacks and nothing has worked. But so it's like there's many examples of NFL teams who draft quarterbacks first in their first round. Oh, Tennessee's another good example. Just recently, they drafted Cam Ward, and so far it's not working out because, Cam Ward said it himself. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. We ass. And you can't blame him because Tennessee gave him nothing to work with. So this logic that some NFL teams have, I don't necessarily care for. It's like, why are we drafting quarterbacks when you need more important positions to help the quarterback succeed? You know what I mean? I don't get it, man. That's why I'm very much against that draft strategy for the long run for the Saints. And that's why I'm hoping we don't necessarily go the quarterback route. If we have to, and there's a quarterback that we absolutely need, if Tyler Shough doesn't work out, then great. To go for it. I mean, I wouldn't care for it, but go for it because, I mean, this coming quarterback class is definitely going to be better than last year's quarterback class in the past draft. So it would definitely be something we have to jump on if we were to go that route. Personally, I would rather go build around the offense, like get a new receiver, get another tight end, running back. God forbid another lineman, but at this point we might need all the linemen we can get. So, because we might have to draft a whole new center, because I don't know if Eric McCoy is going to ever come back. He's now had back-to-back season-ending injuries. Just how much longer can he actually hold up is the question. So, and then we have to start thinking about maybe trading some of the O-line players that have been with us for a while, like Cesar Ruiz, and maybe have to find people to replace him. Kevin Banks Jr. so far has been really good for us. The other guy that we drafted last year, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. I'm so bad. I hate when I'm this forgetful. But but the other guy from last year, he's been really solid. Trevor Penning is probably on his way out because we didn't take up his 5th-year extension, so I doubt we'll bring him back. Plus, he hasn't been that great either. So the O-line is still a big question mark. So altogether, scenario 2 is something I would personally like to avoid because the rebuilding phase, it would absolutely suck if we went scenario 2. I hope that scenario 1 works out in our favor, that Tyler Shough is actually the quarterback we've been looking for. And I just simply hope that we can just find a way to make this rebuild end quicker than expected. But it's gonna take some time. That's all I can say. And right now, there's just a lot of speculation. There's a lot of we're just taking wild guesses at this point of what Tyler Shough could be made of based off a quarter and a half of football. So time will tell, folks. Time will tell. So, but anyway, what do you guys think of the Saints starting Tyler Shough? Leave your comments below. Love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always. And of course, I'll probably have my Halloween special edition episode. We'll probably talk on all sorts of football, whether it's college or professional football. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna have a Halloween special no matter what. So, but yeah, so with that being said, hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will see y'all in the next video. Till then,
you are the savior. We yelling black and gold to the Super Bowl. Black and gold to the Super Bowl. Black and